These 3 plain text email strategies will literally 2x your campaign revenue. So if you don't have 10 minutes to watch this video, you must hate money. Let's dive into it. While branded emails look amazing for communicating offers and do actually achieve phenomenal results, an advantage that plain text campaigns have is that you're going to be landing in your primary inbox at a much higher percentage of time. Why? Because inbox providers like Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo have a much higher propensity to treat them as real legitimate emails from real legitimate people. But also, they're better for storytelling as they're easier to read and you can get a lot more personal with the messaging within these plain text emails. But more importantly, it acts like a pattern break compared to all of your other brands setting glossy, well-branded, highly designed campaigns. But here's the catch, like you really got to use these very strategically because if you overuse them, they will lose effectiveness very quickly. So in this video, I'm going to break down the when, what, and how to implement plain text emails in your retention strategies to maximize revenue for your brand. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you guys like the 3 split test winners that we've found from sending 1,000 campaigns per month for brands in all sorts of niches. And I'll just give you guys the 3 winning formats that we have in this present moment. Before we dive into that, I'll just kind of give you an overview around plain text emails and where they fit into your overall email strategy. So brands are often very overly obsessed, I would say, over email design. But the truth of the matter is your customer doesn't really care as much as you think. And they care way more about like the offer, the urgency, and overall just demonstrating authority and social proof, as well as unique selling points, as opposed to how well the email is actually designed itself, which is where plain text emails comes in, because a plain text email cuts through the noise and promotes actual readership of the piece of content itself. As a result, it feels more like a direct message to them as opposed to like a sales pitch with designed emails. And as a result of their lightweight nature as well, it has improved deliverability, which means higher engagement, as well as because of the readership, you're able to evoke stronger emotions and call out a very specific demographic or problem solution in your actual email copy itself. So what I'm about to give you is 3 formats that we've tried and tested across multiple brands over many months, and they all seem to perform extremely well. The trick here is just don't overuse them, because these formats I'm going to show you are quite hacky, but they work extremely well. But because they're quite hacky, you can't use them on a daily basis, long story short. So number 1 best performing use case is the fake forward strategy, we call it, where it's basically like a forwarded email sent to your customer base that looks like an internally sent memo that was kind of leaked. So to give you an idea, right? Like one of the angles that we used last Christmas in 2024 was a leak of an internal memo of the CEO telling all of the employees, hey, get your Christmas gifts early. We'll give you guys a huge discount to the company store if you're, let's say, wanting to buy this for friends and family, or just wanting to get yourself something special. So that was a plain text variant that got leaked, and that performed incredibly well because we were able to deliver the offer in a way that was extremely believable, but also because it was plain text, it had high deliverability as well as a ton of urgency, because essentially it's like we followed up with an email saying, oops, our code got leaked internally and we're going to turn it off in 12 hours time. Like, we're really sorry about that, but you know, we'll leave it live for 12 more hours. So that was essentially strategy number 1, the internally leaked memo to promote a very specific offer. The second one was we actually sent this to existing customers. So it was a reminder email saying that, hey, you guys have some gift card balance. So let's say they've spent, I don't know, $110 with us, right? We say, hey, you have $11 of credit in points and they expire next week, because there was a bit of urgency on this gift card angle, and telling them that they need to redeem it now. That worked incredibly well as well. And this angle specifically works well as a branded design-based email also, where you kind of design it as like a dynamic gift card balance remaining type of thing, but just make sure to personalize it with things like first names and that kind of stuff. And the final one is actually not used as a campaign, but more so used as a final email in a abandoned checkout or abandoned cart flow. So it's essentially a plain text email with no dynamic segments, nothing along those lines. Basically just checking in with the customer and asking them questions around like why they haven't bought. So it kind of acts as a pre-purchase survey. You know, like on Hotjar website heat map recordings, you can ask the pre-purchase surveys of like what would prevent you from, let's say, buying from the website today, right? It kind of acts as like that, but it also acts as a soft reminder to the customer in a personalized way. Like, hey, we saw you haven't placed an order yet. Would love to get some feedback as to why. Maybe you just forgot. Here's an offer, bit of urgency, that kind of thing. And that works also incredibly well. You might be wondering, yes, Boyan, like that sounds really great, but how do I actually go about writing these plain text emails? It's great that you're thinking this, because one of the biggest mistakes that people make when writing plain text versus designed is they literally just take the design-based copy and put it in plain text format, and that is not the way to go. So you need to treat plain text emails as more of like a direct response piece of copy as opposed to just promotional text. Because at the end of the day, if you insert the promotional text that you would have put in a branded design-based email into plain text format, you're just going to get sent straight to the promotional tab. So really, when it comes to plain text emails, you want to make it seem very human, but also you can interweave, let's say, direct response elements in terms of storytelling, calling out pains, exaggerating the pains, and then providing solutions, following traditional direct response copywriting frameworks, right? Which I've covered on the channel in the past. But essentially, I'll just give you kind of like the core underlying tactics that you want to do inside of plain text emails. Number one, you want to use a real person as the sender name. So inside of Klaviyo, you can actually customize the sender name, make it, let's say, the full name of the founder, or it could be, let's say, Boyan from emailmarketer.com, something along those lines. So it's like founder first name from company name. You want to also keep it relatively conversational, you know, like you don't want to just start with a message that's like, hey Boyan, 50% off site-wide until Monday night. That's not how you want to write it. Instead, you might want to say something along those lines of, if you want to promote, let's say, a 50% off site-wide offer or whatever offer, it could be something along the lines of, hey Boyan, I figured I'd run this through you real quick because I know you're a loyal customer of ours. We're actually having a 48-hour flash sale starting right now until Monday midnight. And in order to benefit from it and to access it, you could just like click this link and use this code, right? So that was more so a promotional type of email. Whereas if you want to go more story-based and direct responsey, if you're telling the story of, let's say, a customer, you might say something along the lines of, Boyan, I literally just got this email from Sally, who's one of the users of our X product, and I cannot believe what she said to me. And then you go into the actual story. Or let's say it could be a real life encounter scenario. It's like, oh, I was at the airport. I saw this person use our suitcase, and it's crazy because he has no idea that I own the company, right? So I went up to him, spoke to him, and this is what he said, right? Something along those lines. It's like you can make it story-based or you can make it promotional-based. If you want to make it promotional-based, just make sure it's like a personal note. And the final thing to include is basically just like a very clear CTA link, as well as some form of personalization to call out the segment that you're actually sending to. So for example, if you're sending to VIP customers, right, acknowledge them. So use their first name as well as saying, hey, I know that you've ordered quite a few times with us, right? And I wanted to show you this because I think this is pretty cool. And then you give them that. Now, if you watched this video up until this point and you want to start implementing plain text in your email marketing, you can either book a call with my team and we can do it for you, or just follow this 3-step process. Number one, find some unique ways, or just take the formats that I gave you earlier of delivering value and offers to your audience in basically ways they haven't necessarily seen yet. 2, start writing the copy to make it seem like the email was directly meant for them. And lastly, just literally just subscribe to a bunch of your competitors as well as brands in adjacent industries, and just having a look into, you know, what they're actually sending as a part of their email campaigns. If you see something interesting, replicate, innovate, and hit send. By the way, if you guys have insights in terms of like the test data for the plain text emails that you guys have tested, feel free to drop it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, to the brand owners, if you guys want a free 360-degree email audit completely complimentary on us, feel free to book in a call. First link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.